brevemente quiero dar las gracias a Paco y a los speakers de la sesión de hoy. Es para nosotros, desde el Departamento de Matemáticas, ceder este espacio para que se lleve a cabo esta sesión del aula Universidad de Empresa. Es un placer. La verdad que siempre desde el Departamento de Matemáticas, Matemática Aplicada, en realidad se llama el departamento, estamos abiertos a todas las ideas y propuestas que vengan de otras áreas, en particular desde la arquitectura, y es para mí, ya te digo, una suerte contar con compañeros que proponen y que nos llevan a estos territorios para poder aprender. Yo voy a dejar como chairman, director de esta sesión a Paco Padial, y espero que disfrutéis con las conferencias de hoy. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Juan Carlos. Bueno, en primer lugar, por supuesto que es un honor y un placer participar del Seminario de Investigación del Departamento de Matemática Aplicada. Además, trayendo una propuesta que integra la empresa y la universidad, y el objetivo de esta charla es trabajar y ver esa transversalidad en los dos mundos, en el mundo empresarial y en el mundo universitario. Igualmente, esa transversalidad en el campo de las matemáticas, porque seguro que vamos a descubrir, sin que haya muchas fórmulas o ecuaciones, puede que ninguna, si sabemos leer, si sabemos escuchar, podemos encontrar nichos de cooperación. It's a pleasure for me to present Ahmed Mukta. He comes from London. This collaboration comes from some months ago, inside of the pandemic. We planned to do this kind of seminar when the condition for the pandemic was possibility to do that. Well, I present this session. We have two conferences, Ahmed Mukta and also Rafael Córdoba from ETSAM Arquitectura, from the Departamento Urbanistic and Territory Organization. It's difficult to say. Both persons are architects. Rafa is doctor some months ago at the end of the 2021, and it's also a pleasure to stay here with us. Well, we began with the conference on Ahmed Mukta. Ahmed Mukta, we have the test to read. Has 27 years experience in design, construction, and project management of numerous projects, including United Kingdom, Nepal, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. These projects were executed to international Canadian, British, and US standards. They included foreign embassies, multinational and international organizations. We have a large list of activities, but I think it's not necessary to recall. He worked in several kind of areas. He is Bachelor of Commerce, Universidad de Rajshahi, Bangladesh. Also, Bachelor of Architecture, University of East London. That means that he has a lot of experience in different types of areas, architecture, also economy, and so on. Well, the first conference is entitled Transforming Life, Creating Resilient Community. Thank you, Ahmed. It's your time. Thank you. Hello.
Hello everyone, my name is Ahmed Mukta. Paco introduced me, and I'm very happy and that there's to meet one, Jose, and Polytechnic University that invited me to speak in front of this audience. Thank you very much. The last 26 years we are working a lot of different fields, but especially what attracts me that the working with the people on the receiving end, that they are not well off, and that's why that I'm saying that my title that the transforming lives, how we are transforming the people we are working with, and creating a resilient communities. In Bangladesh, if you know about Bangladesh, it's a very resilient country in the sense every year you have flood, every year you have cyclone. So after that, people start their normal life. So it's quite common to them that any natural disaster or any other, it doesn't affect them. Okay, it does affect them, temporarily, but they can get on with the life. So that's I will start with. I'll explain few projects what we did, how we transform the people's life. This is the project. The cyclone season is one of the devastating, the cyclone in Bangladesh, and it destroyed a lot of people and the livelihood and the cattle and everything. So they lost everything. So in 2008, British business group, we took a project from Majidchor. It's an island in southern Bangladesh, and what our objective, because when you work with the donors, they have limited funds, so you can't change everything what you want to, but you have to limit yourself that what you can change it. So there in this island, we had 168 houses. We said we will replace it. But how we will replace it? Our theme was build back better, not the living condition they are in, but we will do it better. And when we completed the project, that this 12 years old girl said, we can read at night. What she meant that is for us who lives in cities and big towns. We think that the light in the house and electricity in the house that granted. You don't feel it that the absence of it because it's always there. But for these people who lives in the villages in Bangladesh, the after sunset you don't have any life because it's dark. So you have to go to bed. You even can't read it unless you spend money or the rental or something. So that's the changing life that we are saying that she can read at night. And you can see this one that okay, this is you can see from the map, this is the Majidchor, and 168 families live there. So this is the worst affected island in Bangladesh during the cyclone. Okay, this is the picture. You can see that the top two picture that after the cyclone that's left over. So, and this is, we change it, this is the construction going on, and this is the complete house without the painting. So I'll show you that. I just wanted to compare that, what was there and what we tried to achieve. And then we had a limited budget, that 150,000 sort of, the 1,500 per house, and then we have a project. So what we did that in Bangladesh is very hot and humid country, and the wall is the hollow block wall. So hollow block wall constructed, and it was reinforced. You can see this. This is the reinforced from the foundation to the roof, up to the roof, so it doesn't collapse. Because and we changed the roof, which is a ferro cement roof instead of CGI shape. The reason behind to less heat gain. But downside of it is very heavy. So you have to hold the the structure tightly that it doesn't collapse in the earthquake and so forth. So you can see all this is reinforced. So this is we built for them, and that's the picture you see that this picture. We wanted a less maintenance construction. That not timber, traditionally timber windows, timber door, but you have to change frequently. So we went for a steel door and steel windows. and hollow blocks and ferrocement. And every house had a solar panel for the electricity as well. So after the completion, that you can see that's the complete house, and then it was renovated. And what we did, we did not only houses, 116 houses, road infrastructure, and then we make a jetty to moor the boat, and also the environment that sometimes the high tide comes into the land. So that's what we did. So we completed that, and then it's changed the people's life, and also we provided them the seed, tractor, so forth. So there are British High Commission people, they were involved, and UNDP, they provided the cost for the roof as well, and the UNICEF, they provided the toilet for each house. So that's we did for this project, and that's truly transformed their life, and livelihood as well. And then after the cyclone Cedar, that the International Committee of Red Cross, they asked us to build a shelter for 1,250 families. So, and they had a limited budget, and budget was that 1,000 euros equivalent that for each house. So when we worked with the local people, that we thought that we can build only one room, which will be sized 15 feet by 10 feet, and a strong house. And then we thought that that's we will build and do it right. Then they can build according to their need around it. So we are making the house safer in long run, because that will be the core shelter. And then we will have, they will do it themselves. I'll show you the pictures later on. Anyway. And then we have a limited budget. So what we did on this project, that that this is corrugated sheet on the top, because that's the common, because we have to, but we did a lot of ventilation for this, because this is all bamboo mesh. The wall is made of bamboo mesh. So hot air can pass out, and then cold air can come in. So that's the bamboo mesh. And then this is the the steel angle, and it was quite rigid, and the columns will be that assisted. So you can see this is the 8 columns. That is the reinforced precast column, and to make it strong, that we went up to 5 feet deep, but we did not dig a hole and put the column. We drive it instead of to gain the frictional force. If you want to uproot it, that you can't hybrid, that it will be quite strong. So that's we did. That was the intention behind it, and then we put the grade beam and 4 course of bricks to make it weight. So when there is a high wind, it can't uproot the structure. So that's we did. And 1 year later, there was another one cyclone, and nothing will happen to the single structure of this one. So it is quite tested that it works. So this is the core shelter. This is the core shelter we did. And one thing is quite important, that that this height is little bit okay. This one is 14 feet high. The reason behind, people will build around it. So you need the height to your pitch of the roof and so forth. So that's the reason it was intentionally made it higher, about 14 feet. Normally in Bangladesh, house height or room height will be 10 feet. So it's 4 feet from the pitch. And then you can see that that was our intention, that that we will build. This is the core shelter, and people will build as per their need, as per their. So you can see this one is transformed different way. This one is different way, and this one is different. So they built around it. So it's safe because you have a safe structure in the middle, so people can build around it. And then this is another one project we did in Nepal, that is in Kathmandu. If you've been there, that you know that Tirupur Teaching Hospital is their flagship hospital, and we built the blood center for them. So when we went there, that was my first time I went there. I never worked in Nepal. So we investigated the culture, we investigated what sort of a structure. Then this is the structure we built for them. It's like, you know, the most of the Nepali house, they are pitch roof, and then Nepal has a problem that when we built it, you know, the 2014, that, you know, the electricity was, you know, the 2 hours on, 2 hours off. So you don't have continuous electricity. So whatever we design, we have to bear in mind that, you know, this is blood bank, so your blood will be in the freezer. So you need continuous power supply. So a lot of things, I won't go very detailed, but a lot of things we have to take care that, you know, that this building is functional, because Nepal has earthquake. So we have to design a building which is the earthquake resistance. We did, you know, the 8.4 Richter scale, so that will withstand the 8.4 Richter scale. So you can see that, you know, the window are not that big, but, you know, on the top, you because of the electricity crisis, we put this is glass, because inside when you are working, you don't need any artificial light, natural light will work. So that's is very, I can show you that you can see that picture, this one, that, you know, on the roof we have a hole as well, that, you know, that is all tempered glass, and then you can see inside and at night. And this is the Nepali health minister giving blood on the first day. So that's, we opened on the 2014. 2015, the Nepal disaster came. So I was really anxious from the US embassy in Nepal that, you know, how my blood center is doing. And everybody was praising about it. That the reason behind, in this building, no glass is broken, nothing happened, no crack, and it survived, and it supplied the 75% of the blood of Kathmandu Valley. So that's something, because, you know, the way we did it, because, you know, we put the blood separator and everything, so they can supply blood to the lot of, you know, the people. So that's that functioning. It went very well, and we are very happy that, you know, it did its job. And this came in the US journal, that, you know, how this building did during the earthquake. And when we did that, this building has earthquake. Normally, if you look at the soil condition, you don't need earthquake. But for the liquefaction potential, that we had to put we didn't take chance, we put piling. So that's we did about 60 feet of the piling, 49 of them, that, you know, each column has pile. So you can see that, you know, this is, we put such a way, first we find out that what will be the function of the spaces, and then we put the column. The column grid is not bigger, we didn't put, you know, the bigger, you know, the span, a smaller span. And one thing we did intentionally, all the partition is plasterboard with stud wall with plasterboard. So in terms of any earthquake, there is a flexibility, you know, the building can go. So that's why you did not get any cracks that, you know, when this earthquake happens. And at the same time, like, you know, everything, you know, the less weight because of the, you know, there's some plasterboard construction. That's happened in Nepal. It's sort of first time that, you know, the major construction you use extensively, you know, the plasterboard. We have to import from the plasterboard from India, and the stud as well. So that's we did. You know, we took a lot of pain in the sense that, you know, we wanted to do something different, something will last and do its job. So that's you know, everything is sort of proven after the earthquake that, you know, it did its function. And then we are doing another one project in Bangladesh, which is funded by the US government and executed by the US Army. So we work with the US Army, and so far we built a lot of multi-purpose cyclone shelter, MPCS. Why we call it multi-purpose cyclone shelter? In peacetime, it will be a school. In the weekend, it will be a maternity and the child clinic, and in emergency time, it will be cyclone shelter. So that's why we call it multi-purpose cyclone shelter. And you know that if you look at this building, it looks very ordinary building and simple building and so forth. But whatever we did, it lot of intention that this all the in these holes is downstairs, that when there is a cyclone, people bring their the livestock with them as well. It's not only them to take the shelter, they take their goat, they take their cows, everything. So they can tie it there. So that's the intention, that that if it's a solid, they can tie it. So that's why intentionally we made it that and if you go upstairs, because somehow if the center is flooded with the people, you are going to the roof, at least people can put harness and tie it there. So that is the intention we did it. But most of this one, we have solar, we have rainwater harvesting and so forth. So it's a quite, the US funded, we don't have problem with that in terms of the cost. So that's why that we built it really good standard and functional building. And thus you can see that that this is the mother and child clinic, and this is the school room on teacher's room. That's the first floor. Ground floor will be the cattle, and rooftop in emergency if they need that space. So school during the peace time, mother and child clinic, weekends, and the cyclone shelter in emergency. That's the section. You can see on the rooftop that you have solar panel, and then you have filtration system on the rooftop as well, and then tank there. So rainwater after filtration comes to there, comes to this tank, and then people can use it. Outside there is a tap, people can use it. And this is the zone. This is the zone we worked on. That all the small dots. That's this dot. They represent that all the MPCs. And we did there as well. That once upon a time, not anymore. But this Padma River, bank of Padma River was flooded. That's why these two we did. But if you look at the news the last week, that there is a big flood is this part of Bangladesh as well, because of the heavy rain in India, and all the water actually goes to the Ganges and the Brahmaputra and come to the Bay of Bengal. So this is the first time something is happening, which is really tragic, that about millions and millions of people are homeless in this area. So I'll find out more when I go back. And then we did this project, which is the Ccnc, Postal Crisis Management Center. That's we did for Bangladesh Coast Guard. In Bangladesh, we have a lot of problem in the coastal belt in terms of a lot of miscreants and others. They attack people, innocent people, fishermen. So security purpose, we built this center. Although this is for the Bangladesh Coast Guard, but in emergency, those will be cyclone shelter as well, because certain part of Bangladesh there are less cyclone shelter. So we are doing two things. One is the Coast Guard for the security, but in the emergency time, it will be used as a cyclone shelter. So you can see this. This is again little bit different than NPCS, but the reason behind, you can see this height is really good height, and this is less. For doing this building, because they are all in very remote areas, you don't have any information in terms of flood height, in terms of the fresh flash flood for the rivers and so forth. So our engineers went to the site and made a sort of, I can show you not this one. You can see this one, that all our drawings, we built 26 of them. All of them has those marks. What is the flood level? What is the highest tide level? And this is the highest high tide level. So what we did, that when we built it, some of the side has 20 feet of filling. So it's a huge filling because to build those houses to stay above the flood area, that some of them, is 20 feet filling. And then this height, that the Coast Guard has a lot of boats, and some boat is quite very expensive. We call it defender boat. And defender boat, they will put in the trailer and bring it here. But one thing I didn't know when we started this project, when there is a very cyclone, boat are not safe at mooring. Either they have to be off the water, or you have to leave it in the water, not mooring. If you moor, boat will damage and destroy. So what they do when they have greater signal, either they go to the some safe zone or they go to the sea. So if they are mooring, then the boat will be destroyed. So that's we did. This one, that they will bring the trailer here, and cattle will stay there and people can stay upstairs. So that is the sort of cyclone shelter. And this cyclone shelter, this one we built, some of them in Sundarban. Sundarban is the forest, mangrove forest in Bangladesh. It's very dangerous because there is a tiger and everything is there. And to do the construction, you did not have the water, construction water, everything is saline. So how you do the construction? Then when you go there, first we dig a pond, and then we get the water in the fresh water in there, and then with that water we do the construction. It's a process. When we go through that, as a consultant, we go through the process, not only building them or designing them, how they will build them, how to tackle those issues. We have Bangladesh about 7,000 shelters, and you believe it or not, that the 3,500 is not livable. The reason behind all of them salinity destroy those building structures is not safe. So that's precaution, when you want to do a good construction, that you have to take a lot of effort to make sure that that you get those processes. You ask contractor go and build it, they will build it. They say, okay, I got the water from the river and that's the water we did it. That's one problem. And then another one problem, people who want to live there, then what water they will have. We went 720 feet depth to get the water, both the sun, and got the water. Still water got salinity. Then we put osmosis plant for these buildings as well. So reverse osmosis to make it the habitable. So we go through a lot of things. If you visit one project and you see it and look at, no, it's a lot of thinking, lot of the calculation in terms of budget, in terms of timing, how we'll do it. In Bangladesh, that we have rainy season and dry season. Rainy season is virtually impossible to do the construction. You can do internal work, but you can't do external work. So those timing is factor. Those the people, finding the right people to do the job is a factor. So you have to factorize all of those to make the changing for the people's life or their livelihood. So this is this is the areas we did all the systems. These areas, you can see that most of them is the coastal belt and near the rivers as well. But as I said, that we said for the Coast Guard, it will be security for their security, and the emergency time it will be for the people. And then, and this is the project probably a lot of you heard from the media, international media, that Bhasanchar is an island. We develop it from the Rohingya, but it's not meant to be for the Rohingya, but for the Bangladeshi people. Is project called Asra and Free, which is the project under the Prime Minister's office, and we are building the housing for the homeless people. But at the moment we are in crisis with the Rohingya refugees. That's why we are sort of building for them at the moment for 100,000. So a township developed for 100,000 people, and our time limit was 1.5 years. So, and it's middle of the sea, and then the remote places, and building those is a challenging stuff. And why we call it beacon of hope? That for the people of Rohingya, the place they live in this is the Bhasanchar. This is the Bhasanchar. You can see that this is actually in their below. So and at the moment Rohingya refugees, they are living there, but it's overcrowded because they build the forestation and is subject to landslide and so forth. So Prime Minister wanted to improve their quality of life, and that's why she instructed us that if we can do something about it. So then we make a proposal, and we went to Prime Minister, and she agreed, and we started the project. But our time frame was 1.5 years. And you can see this. This is the Rohingya camp in Cox's Bazar, and that's the most of the people live there. It's 1.2 million people live there, and they all came from Myanmar. And this is the hill. They cut the hill and they build that. And this place is vulnerable and is subject to the landslide as well. So that's why, and that's the standard they live in. So we need to improve it, because we can't work there at the moment because there are a lot of crowded place now. So that's why we changed it to Bhasanchar. And Bhasanchar, before we moved there, this was the Bhasanchar. Okay, 13,000 acres of land is there, and out of that, we took about over 4,000 acres to do the settlement. Okay, so that's what we did. But this island, in high tide, used to submerge in the water about 2 feet. So we can't do any construction while there is water there. So we have to build embankment around it. So which is lengthwise is 12.5 kilometers long embankment to protect the area with the construction. So that's our first job, and that has to be in the dry season. So we were thinking in 2017 that we will do in November, and on site we are in February, and then we finished it following year. So that is the time frame, and everything is specific to those dates, because the monsoon, you have to count monsoon, you have to count about the the availability of the worker and so forth. So that's Bhasanchar before development, after development. And because we did the construction, that we cut a lot of trees, so we replaced equivalent amount of trees on all the peripheries of Bhasanchar. So but question is that eminent that we have to do. Bangladesh population is very high, dense population in the world. So we have to do something about that, and then protect the environment. We sort of replace those trees as well. That's what we did on this project. And you can see that from the picture that this is the environment. we cordon off that, and 1/3 of it we did the construction for 100,000 people. And you can see that this is L shape, the settlement. So we have access to the island from this side, from the sea, which is not shallow. You have access to all the side, but the water is very shallow. Even you have to moor your boat 1 kilometer from the dry land. So it's difficult. So we did from this side. That's why most of the construction went on this side, and there was another one river here. So that's why this is L shape. So when we were designing it, we visited the site because with the Navy, because otherwise you can't go there. So we did all the examination, all the soil test and everything we done, and we started the construction. And this is the Bhashanchar construction, and we call it cluster formation. We built 120 cluster because if you want non-cluster formation, your construction won't be quicker because we have to give it to the contractor and they will build it. So cluster formation, how do we do that? That we have 12 houses like this, and then we have a cyclone shelter, and 786 people will live here, so they can easily go there. This capacity is 1,000 people. It's 4-story cyclone shelter. Is steel structure we imported from Vietnam. So this building is steel structure, and this is the the hollow block and corrugated sheet on the top. But and I will explain a little bit later on. And this is 100% eco-friendly project in the sense that it has solar power, it has rainwater harvesting, it has biogas, and then the sun. We have the green beans for those waste as well, processing as well. So everything you can see that for this project that we try to bear in mind that we wanted to do it as eco-friendly as possible. And you can see for the water for the Bhashanchar is quite exciting in the sense that we have keep safety of 3 layers. One is that rainwater harvesting, that you can have that water. Then we are boring the water, and this is another one source. We are using the underground water, and if those two fail, then every cluster has a pond. So you have that third source for the emergency. So that's the extent we go, because the question is that it is a remote place. So if there is a crisis of water, what you do? So that's at least you have, like we build 4 warehouse which can keep 3 months of the produce. So that's sort of the planning and the activity, and that's we do everything. This project, everything is done by us, which is the MDM. We did everything, and embankment is done by HR Waiting For. That's a British company. They did the shore protection and the. And you can see that when we are designing it, that in terms of ventilation, because this 2 room is back to back, so air can pass through that, and that's your window in the front. So this is the ventilation part we are sort of thinking that to ventilate the place, and at the same time we have enough ventilation escape from this upper part of it. So that's sort of thing we did for this project, and cross ventilation as well. And then you can see this is the biogas plant for each cluster. We have the biogas plant. Although we can't produce biogas for all the household, but about 20% of it. And that's the the shore protection and the floating boom. That's the we did, and that is sort of first time in Bangladesh this floating boom. That because the soil erosion that it stopped the intensity of the waves. So that's the reason we put this is floating boom in Bhasan. And that's the embankment. You can see this embankment, and that is now 19.5 feet height all around it. Second phase, we are just completing it, so that will be done within the next few months. And that's another one thing I was talking to you before about the sea level, and this is the zone that that is flooding now. So something is due to the climate change, something down to the greenhouse effect. We don't know, but we need to investigate and find out that what is the reason is doing it. But question is that like past Bangladeshi people will bounce back and they will find a solution and do it themselves. But it's something that we can like day before yesterday there was an earthquake in Afghanistan and 1,000 people died. So in lot of different part of the world, the certain things happening, and people are looking for the solution. And people like us, and probably the technical university and so forth, that we can do it collectively, something that we can share our experience, and you can have your network to find a solution worldwide. And I think one of the purpose of my talk that to aware people that what do we do, what difficult situation we are in, collectively in Africa, in Indonesia, Bangladesh, or whatever, different part of the world, different problem, and we can find a solution. That's not it. I think thank you. I think I don't have anything. Okay, if you have any question, I can answer.
There's some question or remark.
Okay, very nice talk. Thank you very much. I have a question, several questions, but the main one, in the sense that this is an interdisciplinary seminar, mostly for mathematicians in some sense. There are problems depending on many things. Different things depending on the geographic area and so on. And I wonder if this is possible to deal with the development of this BIM software, because it's a way in which you can transform, in some sense, qualitative facts into quantitative procedures. It's something, I would say, it's a kind of stream trying to develop more and more this kind of software. Do you use it? BIM software?
We don't do that because at the moment, but it can be done. What you say. But this we get problem unique. Like cyclone. If you look at the cyclonic environment, then probably you can find a common solution. And then you have a flood, the flash flood, and that's another one solution. And what you can do, I think probably once you put it equation on all these, then probably you will find a common solution. What would be the common solution? But in this world, there's probably more than 75% people, they don't live in desired house. They probably build it. They don't have access to the engineers or architects. But what I'm saying, what can be done, that you do a basic design. It probably differ, the region to region. but they will have a standard, because as they can't afford a qualified engineer or qualified architect, at least they have a basic design which they can follow and build their house. So that is important, because when we encounter the Major issue, then one of the reasons that most of the house was destroyed because they won't withstand 200 kilometers in the powerful wind. So that's the issue. In Nepal, after the Nepal earthquake, I visited with US Army personnel, and we visited whole Kathmandu Valley. And then what we found out that most of the damaged houses, they did not follow the structural code. When I say all structural code, the minimum column has to be 12 by 12. But they were fashionable. What they did it 10 feet by 12 inches. So it will be same line as the bricks. So sometimes those fashionable design doesn't work when there is a the natural disaster, and most of the building in Nepal destroyed which did not follow the structural code. So those basics are what I'm saying, that the basics you wear off in the society, then people don't do those mistakes. So you can formalize a common scenario that okay, this is the basic you follow. Rest of it yours. You design your house, you do it in a rectangular, square, or whatever. That's you can do, but you must follow certain rules. Like in flood zone, you have to have a flood height, because there's if you go to the website, you can see that in Sylhet that most of the house submerged up to the 6th. So question is, they didn't know that what could be the height of the flash flood. From now on, probably there will be an instruction by the government that okay, don't build below this. How they will fill that 6 or 8 feet is not that easy. So there will be a collective effort by the government and the people as well. So they have to be helpful, because in Bangladesh they don't believe in communal housing, like the terraced house or people living side by side. They want to own their house and surround it, so you have the privacy. So if you are asking government to provide you the support, then you can't do it for every house. If you live in collectively, then they can. Like when we did the Majechor, I'll tell you the example. Majechor, we thought that we will change people's life, make a dike, and build the houses on the top. And no one agreed. So no, we are not living in our ancestors' place, and we want to live here on our own and our way. We don't want to go everybody in there. So there are issues. It's a social issue, there will be government issue, there will be a political issue, and you have to handle those things. But what we can do, that going above those issues, that you make a the generic for the area, generic for the reason that certain goal, certain standard, and people can follow that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any questions, remarks?
Well, first of all, congratulations for all the work that you've done for the presentation. My question is more or less related about what you already answered in the first question, but it's about the first case in Bangladesh. How do you involve the people there in the design process? I mean, you have meetings with them to decide the spaces and materials, or how it was?
Okay, two things that the number one is that if you are working with the donors, that you need to know what's their budget and the time frame. Because as I said, that in Bangladesh is very important that when you start, that will dictate when you finish. So it's very important. And then material wise, one thing you have to do in Bangladesh, if you want to take the consensus of all people, probably you won't get it. So what do? As a professional, you do your educated judge, that that you sit down with people, and then like this one, like when we did the IFRC project, which has the bamboo mesh around it, then people say, oh, you are using the donor money and giving us the bamboo mesh on the around it. So why? It's a cheat. But one thing they don't understand, that to give them the flexibility they need, because that you are building around the post shelter, then you can take it off and make a one room into the common room. You have all the flexibility you want, but there will be criticism. But end of the day, as a professional, you have to take your call. Like in Bhashanchar, that when we are doing that, then I said to the naval chief that I can do it 1.5 years, fine, but make the elevation only 2 feet. We don't need 4 feet. Then he said, no. It's instruction from the top. We have to do it 4 feet. So sometimes you try your best, but sometimes you don't win. But as a professional, you have to try your best. That how to be you take the blame if something goes wrong. End of the day, you take the blame. You have the all my project. I predominantly I tell client, you sort of, this is your requirements. Let me fulfill it. If anything goes wrong, you blame me. But I can't go all the way with you. The reason behind, it will kill the time that what you want, then you don't taste nice end of the day. So let us professional live the job, and you do your briefing that what you need. End of the day, you will be happy. So I think that way, maybe I'm wrong or right, but I actually like Tigo teaching hospital. I didn't listen to anybody. I said, okay, this is the way I want to do it. Then Nepal earthquake council, they came to the side and said, oh, this beam, I don't think this is same. And it's a judgmental question anyway, because we are going by the books, by design. And Nepal earthquake, nothing happened to that beam. So question is, who is right? I'm right or he is right? So end of the day, you take your educated judge, taking all the the question, all the norms and everything, and you do your job.
Thank you. We have time for only one question, but for the people that follow us by Zoom, if you want, you can connect the microphone, and it's possible for you to ask a question or remark. It's okay. We can continue with the break. In the break, we have the possibility to talk with the speaker, also with the rest of the people. It's a very nice lecture. The architecture can be changed, the life also can be changed, the society, and also share the environment. Thank you.
Thank you all.